Death Star, man. Nobody calls Han Solo a bitch.
Bring him on. I prefer a straight fight to all this sneaking around.
I don't know where you get your delusions, laser brain.
Oh, come on, bro. It's the wars.
Well, 2020 is now behind us, and we look forward to a new year and a new era of Star Wars. This is The Wars and More. I'm Joe, and of course with me is my good buddy Doug. Hey Doug, how you doing this week?
I'm doing pretty good, Joe. How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, 2020's gone. Woohoo.
Yeah, woohoo. Yeah, everyone, toast that one for sure.
I mean, albeit it was a good year for Star Wars, right? It was pretty
for
solid.
Sure. Yes.
We talked about that last week. It was solid.
Yeah.
But now we get to look forward. We get to go into new unknown territory, right?
Yeah.
So that's exciting.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Well, first off, before we get into the new era,
Yeah.
Galaxy's Edge. We've talked about Galaxy's Edge.
We have.
I mean, who hasn't, right?
Yep.
Well, they're thinking that they may work in characters from The Mandalorian at Galaxy's Edge.
Okay.
Well,
Okay.
Galaxy's Edge being... that's like the fourth time I said, well, that's horrible.
That's all right.
But Galaxy's Edge being as advertised, immersive experience, right?
Right.
I mean,
Immersive.
it's an immersive experience, and it's set in a certain era.
Yeah.
Not long after, but decently long after the events of The Mandalorian.
Right.
So how?
Yeah, I was just going to say, what you run into there is you'll have Rey roaming around, and you'll have Kylo Ren roaming around and stuff. But
And
not,
then Din Djarin and
yeah.
Grogu.
How's that? Yeah. Interesting, because, what was noticeably missing before was like original trilogy characters and prequel characters and stuff. So, yeah, now we're going to have Mandalorian, huh?
Yeah, I mean, and the pass was given on the OT characters and prequel characters because it's immersive, right?
Right.
It's supposed to be set in a certain time. Like,
Yeah.
I know you made a new product and you really want to integrate it, but
Exactly. Well, right. So
like, would this be a slippery slope? Like, once they do this, like, would they go, oh, well, maybe we should do original trilogy characters and prequel characters?
I might be biased, okay? To the original trilogy and secondly to the prequel trilogy, but I think it would be a good idea, honestly, because I think you have a large swath of Star Wars fans who would love to see that when they go there. So,
well, and for fans of the parks before, right? Like, with everything they were doing Star Wars at Hollywood Studios,
yeah.
There would be something missing with that first trip. Like, hey, where's Darth Vader?
Yeah, absolutely.
Why is it only First Order stormtroopers?
Right.
Now, I think that shock has faded by now because it's pretty well known that it is supposed to be immersive, right? They've advertised that fairly well.
Yeah. It's known and people understand what they're doing there. But now if you're gonna backpedal on that, you're gonna put. Don't get me wrong, I totally get it. It's the most popular thing you got going right now. So you want to capitalize on that for sure, as from a business standpoint. But man, I don't know. Make it its own
I
little
mean-
section. You know what I'm saying?
I understand, because not only was The Mandalorian the most popular show amongst streaming networks, right?
Right?
The most popular show out there. It was also the most pirated show of 2020. So like,
Yes, I had heard this. Well, that's when you know you got something really good, right? I mean, you know,
it's topping both charts. I mean,
owners of these IPs have to understand that that's a big compliment, right?
I mean, yeah, but I mean, it's also, I mean, they don't look at it that way. That's revenue loss,
I
right?
I get it. You know, hey, I've got my subscription. Okay, but
same.
hey,
Can't blame us.
yeah, I'm just saying it's definitely, you know, a compliment. But I don't know. They haven't said how they're going to do this, huh? I mean, if you cordon off one section of the park, maybe you know, one area. This is your Mandalorian area. I don't know. But then I don't know.
Yeah, you can just put one of those world between worlds portals there and
Oh,
walk
man.
down a little tunnel.
Oh, you walk through the tunnel, you're hearing voices everywhere.
Yep.
Oh God. Oh.
Anakin.
Right. Do or do not. Yeah. I don't know, man. As much as I'd like to walk through that tunnel, I just don't know if that'd work.
I mean, it could work.
It could work. Yeah. I mean, the more I think about it, it's like, yeah, they could make that work. Imagineers are good at this sort of thing.
I mean, and this is not the place where you want to like age the characters, right? I mean, okay, so like Mando and stuff like that, no big deal, right?
Right. Yeah, exactly.
You just say it. Look, he's older.
Sure.
Can't tell.
Exactly. Put on
He's
the
got a
suit.
helmet on.
Yeah.
But I mean, you're gonna wait another like 25 years.
Yeah. Then you get into Grogu's a teenager.
Grogu ain't grown at all. I mean, he didn't grow in 50 years, but
Yeah, but hey, now he's a teenager. Now he's like, you know, being rebellious and
a little bit of stubble.
a little bit of stubble, wanting to take out the Razor Crest. Yeah. Last time you took it out, you blew it up.
You know, now he can force choke 3 people without passing out.
Right. Right.
So yeah, I mean that's tricky, right?
It is tricky. It is tricky.
They did kind of paint themselves into a little bit of a corner there with this immersive experience.
They're either going to have to lighten up on that, loosen up their own self-imposed restrictions on that, or, you know, explain it somehow, right?
I mean, how do you feel about that? Would you rather have an immersive experience or just like a celebration of Star Wars?
I almost feel like in order to I don't want to put this in a way that's gonna make people mad at me, right? But I almost feel like
Good
it
luck.
should
This is
just
Star Wars.
Yeah, it's true. Good point. So okay,
Sabers are out, bro.
yeah, whatever. So I think it should just be a celebration of Star Wars as a whole, okay? Because everybody has their favorite bit, right? And if you're going to go to this place and you can't see anything to do with your favorite bit, then there's going to be a little disappointment there. So, you know, why not include all of it?
But could they avoid that disappointment if you really do truly feel like you walked into the Star Wars universe?
You know, I don't know that I need it from start to finish. Okay? For instance, there are moments, right, when you are Star Tours, for example, okay? There are moments in line, there are moments, you know, when you see the walker before you get on the ride, moments when you're like, wow, that's it, I'm in it for a moment.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be, you know, start to finish. Save that for the hotel, right? I mean, that's kind of what that's supposed to be all about, Am I not right? I mean,
Yeah.
so I don't know. I just think,
But I think the hotel's supposed to complement this, right? Like you're supposed to be on this, intergalactic cruise, right? Like,
right.
and then you make a detour to Batu.
Okay.
So in order to keep that immersion, the park would have to be the same way.
I don't know. I just think personally, I'd love to see some of all of it.
I mean, I really hope I can get there before they make this decision. If they make this decision.
Okay.
And then get to experience it before and after and actually be able to have an opinion on which way I like best.
Good point. Yeah.
I mean, because it's hard to say because I haven't been in a situation where I was able to feel like I stepped into the Star Wars universe.
Sure.
I mean, I've had moments where I was able to be sucked into something and feel like I was there, but it wasn't prolonged. Like I couldn't spend a day there.
Right.
I mean, if they truly do make this place feel like as advertised, if you let your imagination run wild, you could feel like you're in the Star Wars universe for a day,
Yeah.
I mean, no matter what, it comes down to letting your imagination run wild.
I was
right?
going to say, yeah. There's got to be
because
some...
if you let the fact that you're taking out dollar bills to pay for something, then you're going to be sucked right out of it.
Yeah. Your public credit's no good here. Yeah. I don't know. I think I can't say for sure because I haven't been there either, but I imagine that going there at this point in time, I would be missing the rest of the Star Wars universe.
Right.
But who knows? Hopefully I'll get there soon too. Hopefully we'll all be able to get there soon.
Right. And that's just to expand on that a little more. I mean, it is tough to say though too, right? Because it's a slippery slope. Once you start adding this, and then people be like, hey, what about this?
Exactly.
What about this?
Yes. That's what I'm saying. Everyone's got their favorite little bit of Star Wars.
But you can't do it all. And not just be, your typical theme park.
What would be most interesting is if, you rolled in and out of different eras, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I mean, you have one place in this galaxy far, far away that, a lot of our main characters have, made a stop to once or twice. And, they could change from day to day, and it could make visiting that place a new experience each time you go.
Oh, there's some logistical stuff in that.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking mainly cast members.
Yeah, some decor, right? You got first order flags and things like that around the place.
Yeah, okay, so that kind of stuff can change on a less frequent basis maybe, but, you get what I'm saying, though.
Yeah. Oh, I agree. I do think the whole immersive experience, like it would, what's the return rate, right?
Right.
Like once you experience it once or twice, how much are you inclined to go do it a third time?
Sure.
So if it's immersive, but it's the same thing. Right. You're not going to go there and see Darth Vader. You're not going to go there and see Luke Skywalker, Exactly.
And you're talking about fans too, that sometimes these fans might have to make a choice between going to a celebration or back to Galaxy's Edge. So, if I've already been to Galaxy's Edge, I'm going to go to Celebration,
Right. I've been to 2 celebrations and both were different, so.
Right.
There is some selling there, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, my plan was to go this year or last year.
Right.
Last year now.
Yes.
And that got just nuked.
Yeah.
Because, I decided to go, my target dates were right in the middle of the raging portion of the pandemic.
Right.
So Well, hopefully 2021 fares better and I can get down there. But
yes, I'm hoping that those sort of things happen on this home front as well. So,
right. All right. Let's do a little bit of casting rumors.
ooh, what do we got?
Casting rumors. Well, I'm sure everyone's seen the new momentum behind Robert Downey Jr. being in Star Wars.
Yes.
And it started as just like, oh, they're in talks to have him in The Mandalorian.
Yeah.
And then for some reason, it was like, oh, wow, Robert Downey Jr. is going to be in The Mandalorian? He's got to be Thrawn.
Yes, I saw all this too, and I have to say I don't know. I really.
Yeah, I thought the same thing. I'm like,
Yeah.
wow, really? That's where you went?
I know.
Like, is Thrawn some kind of playboy or something all of a sudden? Like,
Yeah, exactly.
is he gonna build a suit out of some Dark Trooper wreckage, or
Right.
is he gonna come back from the unknown reaches with a reactor in his chest? I don't know what.
Yeah.
I kid.
You know what though? I have to say, Robert Downey Jr. was in a bunch of 80s movies, and forgive me for saying so, but he plays a very similar character in the Marvel movies, as Tony Stark. It works. It works really well, clearly. But, I don't know.
I don't argue that. I don't think they could have cast much better for Tony Stark.
Right.
He plays that playboy, but I'm a really smart dude.
Right. Yes.
Really well.
Yep.
Really well. I mean, like the way he plays that, he could have almost been a Bruce Wayne, like.
Oh, absolutely. I just don't see where that translates into Thrawn.
It doesn't.
Right.
I mean, obviously there is some bias here based on history, right? And based on history for Robert Downey Jr.'s roles, I haven't seen anything that screams Thrawn to me.
Right. Exactly.
I mean, and even trying to picture him as Thrawn or seeing stuff depicting him as Thrawn, I just don't see it like I have with past actors.
Right.
That have been fan cast as Thrawn.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I could see him being in The Mandalorian as something else. Something new.
Yeah.
I mean, with his personality, with his acting ability, his whole persona, I could see that fitting into Star Wars, but not as Thrawn. I just, I don't think that's the route they would go.
I agree. But I mean, at the same time, I've been in countless discussions about this over the last 2 days.
Nice.
And it's like, if people are telling me, hey man, Heath Ledger, I'm like, yeah, I get it. Like, people
Right.
can surprise you, right?
Yeah, for sure.
And you could be like, oh yeah, I was wrong. And I could be wrong. But right now, I'm not looking at it as I could be wrong. I'm looking at it as like I'm probably right.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I don't see him putting forth a bad Thrawn. You know what I'm saying? But I don't see it being a holy crap, that was Thrawn moment.
Right.
I could see it being like, okay, it was Thrawn. Not holy crap, that was Thrawn.
Right.
I just don't see that connection being made.
No. Thrawn is all about cold calculations, not quirky sarcasm.
Right.
I mean, that's just how I see that. I mean,
And you're talking about an entire career there.
yeah, I am.
Like, we're not just talking about Iron Man.
Exactly.
Like, Robert Downey Jr. has a skill set that he's very good at.
Yes.
And those quirky, smart-ass comments.
Yes. He's made a career out of that. Absolutely.
Yeah, and he's really good at it.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
And if they did that as Thrawn, that's going to be a big turnoff.
Yeah, absolutely. That would be that'd be a jump in the shark moment there.
Yeah, like Thrawn can't even like it can't be dry, but he can't exactly have a sense of humor either.
Right.
He's got to be like, someone tells him a joke and he's like, what?
Yeah, kind of. Yeah. Yeah.
Or just, they say the joke and he's like, well, that's not possible because of this. It's like, dude, it was a joke.
Right.
Haha, get it?
Yeah. Yeah. But again, how often you joke around in the Imperial Navy,
Agreed. But it like, even his comments can't be witty.
Right.
Or even really pointed, right?
Yeah. I mean,
you can't have him with a, don't try to scare us with your sorceress ways, Lord Vader. That ain't a Thrawn moment.
no, it's not. I mean, that's out of the realm of Thrawn right there.
Like, a lot's out of the realm of Thrawn, right? Like,
Yeah.
It's such a different character. Like, he's just got to be so calm
Yeah.
about
absolutely.
everything.
For sure.
Almost droid-like.
Yeah.
Hell, droids in Star Wars have more personality than Thrawn.
Yeah, that's funny. That's part of his appeal, though, right? I mean, because that makes him more menacing. It's
Yeah, and I mean, and not to give anything away from the new books, but they build on that even more with his like political astuteness.
okay.
Like, he's so bad at it.
Oh, nice.
Like political guile is not something Thrawn can pull off.
Interesting. I haven't read these yet.
Yes, it like when they dive into these portions, like they get into like Thrawn being like, look, the tactics of that are like, because he'll say like, well, we just handle it like this, and they're like, look, dude, this ain't a war in the traditional sense.
Nice.
This is a different kind of war. Like, you can't just outmaneuver your opponent. You have to make your opponent think that,
Gotcha.
So, like, they really dive into that character and how he's good at this. And that's what he's good at. Everything else just kind of falls short on. He's
Cool.
really good at what he does.
Right.
But, I mean, they even have characters that kind of joke with him, right? Jab at him. And he just doesn't understand. Because he does things in a certain way. He's so logical.
Yeah, exactly. And that's, and I'm not sure who started this speculation or this train of thought that Robert Downey Jr. could be playing Thrawn, but I don't see that being a possibility. I just kind of think it's funny, especially now that Thrawn's been mentioned in the show. That every time you hear a rumor of somebody going to be on the show or whatever, oh, they're going to be Thrawn. There's
Well, it's a star power equivalent, right? Like, Thrawn is this kind of star in the Star Wars universe,
right.
Robert Downey Jr.'s this level of star.
Sure.
So it's just attachment based on star power, right?
Yeah. I guess.
They're like, oh, if they're going to do Thrawn, they're not just going to get any schmuck. They're going to get.
Yeah, but I mean, you gotta pick the right schmuck. It's
exactly. You know, and the rumors I've seen over the years have been, in my opinion, much better. Like there's been Jason Isaacs, right?
Okay.
So Jason Isaacs, he was Lucius Malfoy in Harry Potter.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Gotcha.
I mean, you look at that guy, you put red eyes and blue paint, and it's like, wow.
Huh. Okay.
He could be Thrawn, and we have already seen him carry that kind of demeanor, albeit more evil, but a similar demeanor.
Right.
He wasn't making jokes, right?
Absolutely.
Nothing was funny to that dude.
No, you're right. Absolutely. That's further along the way to Thrawn than anything Robert Downey Jr. has ever done. Yes.
But I mean, just appearance-wise, like if you've seen the fan art with Jason Isaacs as Thrawn, it's pretty awesome.
Right.
And it's like, yeah, I could see that. I mean, I haven't really seen too many good depictions of Robert Downey Jr. as Thrawn. I've just seen, like, you know, photoshopped in blue with some red eyes, and I'm like,
right. Yeah.
Like, yeah, I don't really see it, you know.
Uh-huh.
So, if they do it, they could shock me, but I'm not dismissing that.
Right.
But
yeah.
As it stands, with the way the dominoes are lined up, I do not see it.
Yeah, I'm with you.
You know, another one I've seen is Benedict Cumberbatch.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I feel that comes with a pretty distinct baggage, right? I mean, he was Khan, right?
Oh, he was Khan.
Yeah.
Strange.
What?
You see what I did there, right?
Oh. You're a funny guy.
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't catch that right. Like, I haven't seen the Doctor Strange movies, so that took a second on me.
Oh, I gotcha. Yeah.
I'm no Sherlock Holmes over here.
Gotcha. Nice. You all right over there?
No. Oh, man. Pun test.
So, yeah, no doubt. So I think we just established that, yes, he has his own baggage if he comes along as
in the most odd way I saw coming.
Yeah.
That's why I'm losing. I was just going to make the Star Trek reference, and then like we went down that road.
I think that was a quick way of covering that.
In and out. That's it.
Yep.
Oh, man. All right, get it together, Joe. All right, yeah, but like, yeah, I think there's some baggage there that just, I don't know. I don't know if it might not be a big deal, but I mean, he looks the part. I've seen the fan art.
He looks the part. I think he could play it. He could play it better than Downey. I mean, just from what we've seen, you know?
Yeah, we've seen a pretty broad range out of him.
Exactly.
And yeah, I agree. Like he could do it.
Yeah.
Oh wait, they both have a Sherlock Holmes connection, don't they?
Yeah, yes they do. Now that's funny.
I was just like, wait a second, did Robert Downey Jr. do a Sherlock Holmes movie?
He sure did. Love it.
Wow, that's great. That's great.
Yeah.
But yeah, I could see, you know, Cumberbatch doing it, but Cumberbatch. I'm sure I'm saying it wrong, no matter which way I say it. But
exactly.
But yeah, I just think there's some baggage there.
Yeah. Totally.
So yeah, I think Jason Isaacs is the answer, right?
Hey, you know, they could surprise us with somebody out of the blue, and leave it to them. They'll find somebody to pull it off. That's for sure.
Oh yeah, this is a character that, I mean, especially if they go and do it in The Mandalorian, this is not a character that Dave Filoni, he's already shown this is not a character he's going to take lightly.
Exactly. He will take it seriously. He will he will make his thoughts known to Jon Favreau for sure. We've seen that happen too. About the weight that this character carries here. This is it would be a big deal,
Mm-hmm.
As far as Robert Downey Jr. goes, man, he could play anything, like I said, something new, maybe, I don't know. I could see him some sort of a hotshot pilot type character or something like that, that would make more sense.
Yeah, actually that would make more sense. And like, hell, you could even use it as a launch pad for this Rogue Squadron movie, right? Like maybe he could be involved in that because it's a new era, right?
Well, maybe, yeah. Interesting thought. Yeah, we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, hotshot pilot though, that really fits his MO, right? Like
it certainly does.
Have something to add to the conversation, or you just want to let us know how we're doing? Email us, show@thewarsandmore.com. That's the best place to get in on the action. But if social media is a little more to your liking, @TheWarsAndMore on Twitter is always a good place to interact with us, and we're also on Facebook, facebook.com/TheWarsAndMore. And of course, your portal to this and everything else, The Wars and More, is thewarsandmore.com. All right, so since we're talking about fan casting, might as well bring up the one that kind of took off a little bit before Robert Downey Jr.
Ooh, okay.
And it's there's been rumblings of this one for a little while, but it kind of like resurfaced kind of hard for a second to kick off the new year.
Oh, okay.
And it's Keanu Reeves.
Really?
As Darth Revan.
Wow, okay.
Now, the thing with Darth Revan is he's going to be masked most of the time.
True.
So I'd really like to consider voice and stuff like that more so than appearance.
Ah, okay. Got what you're saying.
Because, I mean, if we're going to use the appearance that we have for Revan, I think it was Knights of the Old Republic 2 where he was unmasked.
Okay.
For a minute.
Yeah.
And it's a very plain face, right?
Right.
With semi-long hair. So, of course, with this whole John Wick thing that's going on, and like Keanu Reeves' current look,
right,
they see a little bit of scruff, pretty plain looking face, and semi-long hair.
Right.
They're like, oh my God, it's Revan. What?
That's funny.
I mean, you've heard his voice, right?
Yeah. And man, this is a character that fans have been clamoring for forever.
Which is why I feel like they'll just latch on to anything.
Right. Well, I mean, okay.
I'm sorry, I was kind of a jerk.
Well, okay. No, but I get what you're saying, right? Because, here we have, fairly prominent actor, right? Who, who's kind of hit it pretty big with these John Wick movies. And, I think fans are just throwing stuff out there that is like, if we can make this happen, however we can make this happen, let's just make this happen, And not that, Keanu Reeves would do a bad job or anything, but, I don't think he's known for being the most, I don't know, like, how deep his repertoire goes, if that's a way to put it, right? I mean, You know what
No,
I'm
but
saying?
it's Bill and Ted,
Yeah, right.
right? Matrix.
Right.
What was the one was he in Speed?
Yes.
So Speed,
Right. He's in, yeah, A-Speed. Yep.
John Wick.
John Wick. Right.
Oh, you know what? I gotta say, in probably my favorite Keanu Reeves movie, Constantine.
Oh, right. Yeah.
So he's got those going for him. I guess that is a decently broad range, and wow, you're actually kind of bringing me around on this a little bit.
Okay.
Like overall, like Keanu Reeves as an actor, I'm like meh, right? Like he's okay,
Sure. Yeah.
but then I think of that. That is kind of a range he's done, right? Like from like stoner burnout to
Right. To assassin.
and there was a pretty broad growth in the Matrix, right?
Sure.
Speed's pretty good.
Right. Hey, don't forget about Point Break.
Meh.
I
I think we should forget about Point Break.
okay. Well, I don't know. And to be fair, I have not played necessarily the Old Republic, so
Well, I mean, if you're looking to get a really good grasp on who should play a character, a video game from that era is not the best place to look.
exactly. See, that's kind of yeah. Now I've read books with Revan, right? But it's like again, you could I don't know.
So I played the Old Republic, the MMO.
Okay. Yeah,
and
yeah.
Revan makes an appearance in there.
Okay.
And I would say Keanu Reeves as that Revan is an absolute no-go.
Okay.
Like, I just don't see that.
Okay. I see.
And it comes down to voice more than anything,
Right.
because he was masked.
Gotcha.
But, I mean, and if that's the route you're going to go, like, someone else is going to voice him, then why the hell you get Keanu Reeves to play a guy in a suit? Like, it just...
Right. you make a good point there.
That seems very expensive for what you're getting.
Exactly.
Like he took his helmet off twice. Like pay him for that.
Right. The only way that would work is if it's a dream of his to be in Star Wars, and he kind of does it on the cheap to be in Star Wars.
Like, I mean, if you need a plain looking guy with long hair, like semi long hair, I mean, I'm available.
Yeah, but would you take this role? I mean, would you hold out?
Would I take this role?
Come on, you wouldn't hold out for something a little, better, more prominent,
What?
Oh, okay. So you do it then.
Yeah, I'm totally available. And plain looking guy, semi long hair. I got it nailed, man.
Okay, right on.
Not as athletic as I used to be, but hey, we can work on that.
Right. Yeah. Oh, I love it. Well, that's it. You're a shoo-in, Joe.
Yeah, sure. Oh man. But no, I mean, if this is something that I'm always for, like, even with the Robert Downey Jr. thing, if there's like a certain passion there, I will come around.
Sure.
Like if they cast him and like he gives me this like, thing about Star Wars, I'm be like, oh, maybe I was wrong. This guy might be the right guy. He's one of us, right? Like,
yeah, I mean, there's always that, but
I mean, that's what the cast of The Mandalorian has done, right? Like, I don't want to say reverence, but their reverence for what they're doing is intoxicating.
Oh, absolutely.
And it got even better this season. Like we talked last season about Fennec Shand, right?
Yep.
It's like, wow, that was a character I really wanted more of. And then we got more of her. I was like, wow, that was really cool.
Absolutely.
And now she's like saying all these things about being there with Mark Hamill and things like that. And I'm like,
I saw that.
I really want more Fennec Shand.
Yeah. That kind of stuff right there. Just being aware and knowing what you're a part of in the moment for something like that is a very good characteristic to have to be in Star Wars.
Like this is a thing for being an actor, actress, in Star Wars, is if you can connect with fandom beyond, like, so you play a role and you bring everything to that role. You're creating an awesome character, right?
Yep.
And then you go and like geek out with us.
Yeah.
Like you join us, geek out with us. Like you just end up elevating yourself to a whole nother level. This is what Clone Wars crew started.
Absolutely.
They created this environment of like, wow, we're geeking out with the people who are making it.
Right.
And now it's become a thing. Like if we get to do that, like you just elevate yourself no matter what. Like you could be in 10 minutes of Star Wars and you're geeking out with us and we're like, you're the greatest.
Yeah. Okay. Forgive me for saying so because I know we kind of do this all the time, but you have to wonder if part of this could be Dave rubbing off on these actors. I mean, with someone like Dave Filoni, it's so genuine. His love of the franchise and his depth of knowledge and all of that. I mean, could it be rubbing off from him onto everyone that's working with him? I mean,
I think Jon Favreau carries that same kind of attitude.
Yes, at least the love of it for sure.
And I think that's what's so intoxicating.
Right.
Like you get with these people who are geeking out about doing something and they're making it fun, and it's reminding you how much you liked it when you first saw it. And now you're geeking out over it.
Yeah.
I think it's intoxicating. And I think the mood that Dave and John are bringing is intoxicating, and it's rubbing off on everyone. And
man, you make it sound like everyone's drunk.
it is. We're drunk on Star Wars.
That's
man.
Right.
But I mean, that really does go a long way with Star Wars fans.
Absolutely.
It really has become a bit of a family, right?
Yeah.
And the more and more we connect with the people who are creating it, it sweetens the deal, right?
There's no doubt.
You watch a story, you watch these people pour everything into their acting, and then they geek out right along with you, and it sweetens the deal.
Yeah.
And you get to put a face with the character, like you get to know more, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
You almost end up with a more personal relationship with the people who are bringing you Star Wars, and it makes it feel family-like.
Right. Especially in, let me sound old for a second, in today's day and age, seeing as how fans and the actors can have this back and forth that they never used to be able to have, seeing as how the actors can show just how into it they are, just like the fans are, that goes a long way. It's definitely a new world for the actors aren't like beyond your reach kind of thing, out of touch,
Well, I mean, I can remember as a kid meeting celebrities at the Autorama.
Sure. Yes. Absolutely.
Okay, the Autorama was always it brought in wrestling personalities and actors and
Yep.
this and that, and you got to meet celebrities and get pictures with them and get autographs.
Right.
And when you met celebrities there, it felt like an assembly line.
Absolutely.
There was no connection there. There was no they just were like, okay, cool. Hey, how you doing? Fake smile, Yeah.
Yep.
And then I go to a Star Wars celebration.
Right.
And I meet actors, voice actors, things like that. And the warmth they put into each interaction it's wild. It's like, whoa, what? I just had a real conversation.
Right.
And all I signed up for was an autograph.
Right.
They didn't just sign the autograph and send me on my way. Hey, how you doing today? It was like, it was talking to a person to person.
Yep.
It wasn't like talking to a celebrity. It was the wildest thing. Like, you're talking to this person who is an absolute celebrity. But it was that whole family thing. Like, we are a family.
Right.
In Star Wars. At least when everything's good.
Exactly. Hey, like all families, we fight, right?
Yeah, I mean, we fight.
It's all right. It's all good.
So, but yeah, you're right. It's all good.
Yeah.
We can fight and be a family at the end of the day.
That's right.
But yeah, it's different. It really was different. I've never gotten an autograph and felt so acknowledged. Right?
Yeah.
And felt like the person that I was talking to about Star Wars and what they're doing, I've never felt that same passion. Like, they're passionate about what they do.
Right.
They've done a good job. It's especially, you said it, in the Dave Filoni era.
Right.
One of the standouts for me was Vanessa Marshall. I mean, that was an absolute, what would be the word? It was a very enjoyable experience to get to meet Vanessa Marshall.
Cool.
I mean, just the first thing she said was like, we brought a picture of Hera, and she's like, oh my God, I've never seen this one.
Wow. Nice.
And it's like, wow, really? I bought it here.
Oh, that's funny.
But we saw we saw this Hera poster, and we were like, wow, we're meeting Vanessa Marshall later and to get an autograph, and this is like the perfect Hera poster. And to go up there and like, oh my God, I've never seen this one. And she's so excited, and she's talking to us about our day and her day, and like,
cool.
So that's what Star Wars has, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. We should probably talk about the High Republic a little bit.
Okay, we could do that.
A little bit. And soft spoilers. But spoilers nonetheless, because some people take whatever you say about anything as a spoiler.
Yes.
So what we're going to say is 5 minutes. 5 minutes. We're going to talk about Light of the Jedi. The first book that came out to kick off the High Republic. I'm going to stay as spoiler-free as possible, but for 5 minutes, if you don't want to hear anything whatsoever, fast forward.
Okay.
And we will be starting right now.
All right, lay it
So
on
the High
us.
Republic.
Yeah.
I gotta say, it's so far confusing. It's the High
Okay.
Republic. This is the height of the Jedi, right?
Yep.
This is the light at its strongest. It's been pretty dark.
Oh, really? Oh, that's funny.
I mean, there's a lot of death, bro.
Okay. So, a lot? Okay.
A lot. Like, a lot.
That's funny. Wow.
Now, it's a different kind
Okay.
because it's not via war, at least from what I know so far. I'm halfway through.
Okay.
So, at least from what I know so far, it's not from war. It's not
Okay.
outright war.
Gotcha.
It is purely by accident, circumstance, nature, whatever. Don't know yet.
Okay. Wait,
I mean,
you're
I've been
halfway
introduced to what
you're halfway
presumably
through?
are some antagonists,
All right.
and it doesn't seem like they have anything to do with what's going on. So,
Interesting. Okay.
but they may by accident. It's kind of implied.
Okay.
But yeah, it's different. It's Star Wars.
That was going to be my question. I mean, so it does still feel like Star Wars.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, there's some points with Jedi that are just, wow, this is Jedi badassery.
Okay. I like the sound of that.
But I think the problem is, and where I may be running into trouble is, this is the first book of a new era.
Right.
A new era, somewhere we've never been.
Sure.
So there's a lot of introductions going on.
Yeah.
And like you're in the middle of telling a portion and then you're talking about someone else all of a sudden.
Ooh, okay.
And I'm like, ooh, I don't like that. I don't like the jumping around.
Right.
But I understand. This is the first.
Okay.
So that there is a little off-putting in a way.
Yeah. Yeah, I could see that.
We're coming up close on our 5 minutes here, right?
Yeah, you got about a minute.
Yeah. So, yeah, it jumps around a lot of characters. There's a lot of introducing characters that are no longer with you 10 minutes later.
Okay.
So, like I said, it's kind of dark for the High Republic and the height of the light, right? Like,
Right. So I gotta say, so I did watch the launch event on YouTube, and you know they interviewed a lot of the authors and things. But my concern was that it seemed a little bit like the authors were looking to other places to draw inspiration from, and I was hoping this wasn't going to feel too much like other things as opposed to feeling like Star Wars. So
no, I mean, there's a very Star Wars-y feel to it.
okay,
So
that is good. That was my biggest concern. So, if you can alleviate that, then I think I'll definitely have to check this out. I was hopeful but skeptical. So
right, and we're at time, right? Like
we are just under time. So yeah, let's cut that off there.
yeah, we're like 20 seconds, right?
Right. So
Not much to say in 20 seconds.
yeah.
So, but with the launch of the High Republic, and this is not spoilers here, we are out of spoiler territory.
Okay.
They did kind of play with the timeline a little bit, not like move things around, but just the structure of how
Okay.
the timeline is presented.
Okay.
So they have separated the timeline into 6 eras.
Wait a minute. You saying they did this thing again? So like, didn't they just like mess with the Battle of Yavin point and made it the Battle of Starkiller Base thing, and now they're switching things around again?
I don't know if they're like changing their starting point or what, or if they're just eliminating a starting point.
Okay.
So like maybe there won't be the like BBY or before Starkiller Base or whatever it was.
Huh. Okay.
Was it before Starkiller or whatever they called it?
It was, yeah, something like
The
that.
Starkiller incident, right?
Yeah. The incident. I love it. Okay.
Oops.
Right.
But no, so they're separating it into eras now. So they introduced a new era of Star Wars. I guess they felt obligated to say, okay, we're doing an era, but these are the other eras that were before it, but after it.
I love that about Star Wars. Okay.
So the 6 eras are, and I'll just read through them and then we'll discuss.
Okay.
So we got the High Republic, Fall of the Jedi, Reign of the Empire, Age of Rebellion, the New Republic, and Rise of the First Order. So those are your 6 eras of Star Wars.
Okay. A couple things that bug me.
Couple things that bug you.
Yeah. Yeah. So Fall of the Jedi. Man. Okay, so just off the top of my head here, that sounds very EU. Like it sounds like a book title or something to me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Fall of the Jedi. Okay.
I think that so Fall of the Jedi and while accurate, I guess that was the time period that led to the Fall of the Jedi.
Sure. Okay.
The Jedi Order as we knew it
Right.
for that period of time.
Yeah.
My problem with that is everything else refers to the Galactic Order. Right? So you got the High Republic,
Yeah.
Reign of the Empire, Age of Rebellion, New Republic, Rise of the First Order.
Ah, good point.
So you're talking galactic orders here, right?
Yeah.
But
yeah.
you got all of the Jedi. The Jedi never ran the Republic.
Right. Yeah. They were there,
You know,
but they weren't like everything else is referring basically to governments and overthrow thereof. Yeah.
So Fall of the Republic would have made more sense to me. Or Fall of the Old Republic, because you got the New Republic.
Yeah.
So Fall of the Old Republic really made sense to me when I see that.
Yeah.
Not Fall of the Jedi. Because what would have made Fall of the Jedi better is if instead of Reign of the Empire, it was Reign of the Sith.
Exactly.
Okay, now those two things make sense.
Yeah. But Reign of the Empire makes sense too. So, yeah, I would say Fall of the Jedi, that's the one that seems most out of place, for sure.
Yeah, because you're talking about galactic orders. You're talking about things on a galactic scale. The Jedi are not the ones in charge.
Right.
So, yeah, it was their fall, but their fall was tied to their allegiance to the Republic.
Right, yeah. Which is clearly laid out in the prequels.
Yes.
Wow. So, okay, what was the next one? The Reign of the Empire?
Yes. So Reign of the Empire would be like the time of like they're putting here the Bad Batch, which we haven't seen yet, but it's going to take place in that time period.
Okay.
So post Order 66. This is post Order 66 before the rebellion starts to really take hold.
Okay. Makes sense. Honestly.
Yeah, so this
sense.
is Solo, stuff like that.
Right. Okay.
And then you got Age of Rebellion, which is Rebels, Rogue One, and the original trilogy.
Right, which again, totally makes sense.
Yep.
Yeah. Seems like we're complicating matters with all these timelines, but okay. I mean, some of them are making sense here, but okay.
It may make sense as more content comes out.
It might, yeah. I mean,
and it could just be to clean it up on the pages, right? When they put it in books and things like that.
Okay.
Because I mean, it they don't want it to be 6 pages, right?
Right. Well. Okay.
And they want to be able to put everything in a, so you can kind of place where you're at.
Yeah.
It's been a thing for Star Wars. You want to be able to place where you're at.
It certainly has been a thing. Yes.
Yeah. It's been a thing for a long time.
Yeah.
And that's why, BBY was established.
Right. Which
then changed.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm still good with BBY. Still trying to figure out the Starkiller Base thing. I don't get it, but okay. And this is okay. This makes more sense than the Starkiller Base thing. I will say that. That's for sure. But yeah.
Well, I think they made that decision thinking they were going to just keep moving forward.
Yeah, but
So at the time they thought, okay, we're going to do the sequel trilogy, and then we're just going to move into the future of Star Wars. So we're gonna change the point to Starkiller Incident. That way, eventually, this is going to be the middle point.
yeah, but then they figured out they have 25,000 years of Star Wars history to go into. It's like, oh,
Yeah, they got the memo.
right, yeah, they learned this. That's funny. So what was the last one then?
Rise of the First Order.
Right. Yeah, but didn't the First Order fall? Okay, so it's the rise and fall of the First Order.
Yeah, I guess in all honesty, now that like we say this out loud, I guess this one actually makes the least amount of sense, because the First Order, they just were there.
Right. Yeah, you're right.
I guess the New Republic was still existing until they decided it doesn't anymore.
Yeah.
But that was the first movie, so
That's strange. Okay.
actually this one makes the least amount of sense.
Yeah, it does, doesn't
Because
it?
because the other one, Age of Rebellion, why ain't that the rise of the Empire? Because the Empire was gaining strength throughout it until they were defeated.
Right.
So wouldn't this be like Rise of the Resistance?
Hey, isn't that a ride?
Yeah, maybe that's the problem here. They're like, crap, we already used that title.
Exactly. Oh, okay. So the first one is what? The High Republic.
High Republic.
Right. Sounds like a party. Second one. The second one is the Fall of the Jedi. Too much party.
Yep. Reign of the Empire, the cops show up.
Exactly.
Age of Rebellion, you ran.
Yep, you ran. Yep.
The New Republic, you're out of jail.
I love it.
Rise of the First Order, you're trying to tell your kids about what you did in the past.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So don't do it. Yeah. I think we got this figured out now.
We just wrapped Star Wars up in a nutshell, dude.
Exactly.
Wow.
Yeah.
Can't believe the way that just evolved.
Hey.
And still yet made sense.
Exactly.
So you're not a fan of the eras then?
Well, I mean, it's okay. It's, I'm still good with the Battle of Yavin. As a a point from which to anchor all the rest of the Star Wars to. But so I was totally not a fan of making a new anchor point for the timeline, right? Being Starkiller base event or whatever it was.
I'm pretty sure it was Starkiller Incident.
Okay. Whatever it was. It might have been the incident. I don't know.
I ever told you about the tragedy of Starkiller Base.
No, that doesn't make sense. I was not a fan of that whatsoever, because there was just no reason to change it, other than, let's forsake the Battle of Yavin, and this is our Star Wars now.
Yeah, I don't know if it was really forsaking, but I think it was definitely them saying, "Okay, this is ours now."
Right.
And it starts when we say it starts.
Yes, exactly. Now,
and
these time chunks here that we have, titles aside on a couple, they do make sense, right, for different eras.
Mm-hmm.
It makes far more sense than, switching the anchor point of the timeline. So,
yeah, I mean, if you're just going to make the anchor point the furthest most into the future, like,
right.
if you go forward, you're just going to keep moving the goalpost there.
Yeah, exactly.
At least with doing the eras, that will save that happening in the future.
Right.
Because there's not an anchor point now. It's like, this is this era, this is this era, this is this era, this is this era.
Right.
And you can figure it out from there.
The only thing that I think I would like to see is, and just, quick off the top of my head, I think this works for the most part, other than the High Republic, is for these quote unquote eras to be roughly equivalent in length of time. You know what I mean? Just to have kind of like some sort of consistency. But
right,
seeing as how we have our 3 trilogies, they definitely work in there,
Yeah, like you got the New Republic, and the New Republic is literally the Mandalorian.
Right.
Which I don't understand, because, they have the Bad Batch listed in Reign of the Empire. That hasn't aired yet. So wouldn't Ahsoka and the Book of Boba Fett presumably be in the New Republic era? But yet they didn't get put there.
They didn't. Interesting. Huh.
So maybe they're just bullet pointing those on the Mandalorian? I don't know.
That's possible.
You're going to have sublists. So the Mandalorian is that portion of the timeline, and you're going to have a sublist that says...
yeah. Here's everything that happened parallel. Oh, man. Yep. We're going to need, like, charts and graphs and stuff to keep track. That's what I was afraid of, Joe.
I think you needed charts and graphs with the other stuff. Like, not so much with the Disney era.
Right.
But with the expanded universe era, you had to have squiggly lines and...
Yeah, but a lot of times those books came out with like trilogies or a series of books, So in those cases, it wasn't that hard, but it only got hard when there was like a one-off book. It's like, this one happened between book 3 and 4 of that series. It's like, whoa, okay, stop it.
Hey, you know what would throw a monkey wrench in this whole thing?
What?
Not to go down this rabbit hole, but just as a joke. Like, if they do this whole world between worlds thing, how do you start drawing the lines here?
Oh, stop it. Yeah. Then you need to just start punching holes through paper.
you need some scissors and some glue.
Yes, exactly.
Well, that was here, but after this incident, we're just going to use incident.
This is Star Wars. Choose your own timeline.
It's like build your own burger. Like,
right, yeah. Instead of choose your own adventure, it's choose your own timeline. There you go. Yeah.
What did you like? That's what's canon.
Yeah, everyone gets their own personalized canon. That works, yeah. That would never work.
Yep, you're right. I mean, it's pretty much what's happening now, but...
Well, hey, with these eras here, these chunks of time that they're labeling now, I can see how this will work. I think they need to, before they come out with the next title of the next era, just make sure you kick around the naming convention a little bit more.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the one just seems out of the convention.
Yep.
This is not inaccurate.
Right. Seems to be focused on the wrong thing, though.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, maybe they just hate the Jedi.
You're gonna start a whole nother can of worms here, Joe. I think we're running out of time for that.
Were bad.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Not bad. They still did good things. They just misguided a little bit.
Yeah.
Trusted the wrong people. You ever trust the wrong person? Can happen to anybody.
That's right.
I think we went through that, right? With the party, still a party, the cops show up.
Yeah, exactly. Yes.
Trust the wrong person.
Right. That's funny.
All right. Before this gets too out of control, I think we're going to wrap it up there.
Okay.
So if you have anything to add to the conversation, you can always email us, show@thewarsofmore.com. It's the best way to get a hold of us. We're also on social media. We're at The Wars of More on Twitter, facebook.com/thewarsofmore. You find all that and all the ways to find the show over at thewarsofmore.com. Any final thoughts this week, Doug?
No, I think that about covers it.
All right. We'll talk next week.